Hey Dreamers, this is Jade and I'm back with my journal flip for the month of July 2021. And so I drew a peacock because I was seeing a whole lot of peacock imagery for this month. So that's why I drew that. And so on the 3rd, we had a cookout at my cousin's house. This is usually an annual thing, but of course, last year we couldn't do it. I was happy to gather with my family this year because it had been so long. And I still am very cautious about where I'm going and how many people I'm around and stuff like that. So it was nice hanging out with them. So that's basically what was going on this day. And that's little Sammy. That's my little cousin's dog. And I always tell her when I see her, I was like, you should get another dog and name him Dean, and they can save the puppy apocalypse world. And then, okay, on the 7th, I kind of basically created my own little ritual. And I was getting imagery about, like I said, peacocks and things like that, which is related to the deity Juno. And if you want to know more, then Google is your friend. And there you go. So on the 10th, it was just a pain day for me. I was having some pain in my arm. So I just basically got back into bed after I had gotten up to do something. And so I just got back into bed, took my pain meds, and just kind of chilled out for the rest of the day, hoping my arm would feel better. And I think eventually it did because that night I ended up watching the Conor McGregor versus I don't know how to say his last name, 3 fight. Apparently this was the 3rd time they fought. I have this kind of weird fascination with Conor McGregor for some reason now. I think because I watched a documentary about him a year or two ago. But anyway, so I watched that and it was an entire shit show because Conor McGregor ended up breaking his ankle or his leg or something during the fight. So they didn't even get to actually fight. A mess, okay? And this day I was excited because I had ordered my shirt from 80s Tees. It was the Rad shirt. I don't know if you guys remember this movie, but it used to be one of my favorites when I was a kid. I remember going to the local video store near my grandparents' post office in their town, and we would rent this movie and I would watch it over and over and over again. And it's just basically about this kid who wants to win the BMX racing track called Hell Race. It's supposed to be this really tough track, and then yeah, it was just such a cool movie. So I had to rewatch it, and then my shirt came in. This is a picture of what the shirt looks like, and it was gray with, yeah, boom. And this is just the receipt they send or whatever, or the shipping, whatever. So just documenting that. Very excited about my Rad t-shirts. Any other 80s babies that remember that, let me know. Not the next day, on the 16th, I went to go see my friend in Virginia. She was getting married the next week, and so I was just going to hang out with her before she got married and help her run her last minute errands and get stuff ready and all that kind of stuff. So that was fun. I took that picture of the rose bush in front of the house before I left. I saw this car with a thing around their license plate that said something cool. And then this is just a picture of my friend she was looking for headpieces for her hair for the wedding. And then, and then that night, her church had a movie night. And this was the first time I had been back in the movie theater since everything with the panorama hit. And so, yeah, and we saw Space Jam, and I thought it was freaking hilarious. But me and her together, we make everything funnier. And so, I mean, I was laughing so hard, my stomach was hurting. And I don't get people's gripe with this movie. It's like people politicize every fucking thing, and it's weird and annoying. And it's like, just enjoy the movie or not, and shut up. But anyway, so that's basically what was going on that day. And then the next day, again, we were just kind of running errands and out and about. We got some food, lunch from Chick-fil-A. We ended up getting dinner from Jersey Mike's. She went by a cigar shop. Can I say that? Do I know words? a cigar shop to find a present for her, the pastor or the preacher that will be marrying them. And then David's bridal, I got her something new, which was the headpiece she was looking for. She found one that she liked, so I was like, let me pay for it, and yada yada yada. And on the 24th, they got married. Again, they didn't have a lot of people there, so they streamed it on Facebook for the people who were not going to be able to be there physically, was basically everybody. She had like her mom there, the people that were marrying them, her best friend since like kindergarten or something like that. So very few people, and then like a few members of his family, and that was pretty much it. So they streamed it for everybody else, and so I just again took screenshots, and that's it. And then my July wrap up, my favorites as far as entertainment. There was so much I loved this month. First of all, you got Atypical, such a cute little show, 30 minutes on Netflix. Generation, again, another good show, was on HBO Max. Basically about this coming of age of these teenagers. So I'm very excited for that show and the second season. The Innocent is a show based on one of the Harlan Coben, I think it's the same name, Harlan Coben novels. All of the Harlan Coben novels that they have created into series on Netflix so far have been top notch. I have loved them all. Sex Life. The people in this show are horrible, but the story is like, it's like a train wreck. You can't look away. It's kind of like watching You. Again, I saw Space Jam, loved it. And then Wrath of Man, loved the way it was put together. This is a Guy Ritchie film. You guys know I'm a fan of Guy Ritchie. The Fear Street series that came out was top notch on Netflix. Loved every single one. And of course, all the stories tie in together. So you have to start with 1994 and then do 1978. And then 1666 basically is a story of how it all began. And so, yeah. And then the last season of Bosch, really loved that show. So the whole thing, the whole list was Wrath of Man, Sex Life, Manifest, Atypical, Space Jam, The Bold Type, such a good show. Fear Street Part 1, 2, and 3. Never Have I Ever, the second season of that. The main character in that show is a train wreck. Generation, Bosch, and The Innocent. What I was listening to, Ed Sheeran finally dropped new music after a long period of time for his new album called Equals. Bad Habits came out. So I was loving that. And then James Arthur also dropped a new single called, and I think he has a new album as well, called September. Absolutely love that song as well. So they were both on repeat in the month of July. And then the books that I read, the whole list was The Black Kids by Christina Reed, Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. Okay, first I'm going to say trigger warning because it does depict abuse very vividly in this book. However, the way I described it was, it is heartbreaking in the worst and in the best ways. So, yeah, August West, man, love him. Iris, love her. Okay, such a good book. And then I also read, The Impersonal Life by Joseph Benner. Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss. It's about reincarnation. And about this man who had a patient that he, was hypnotizing and getting information from. And she was basically being taken back to her past lives. And it was explaining why she was having anxiety and very, very tough issues in her current life. And exploring those actually helped her get a lot better. Like a lot better. So, such an interesting book. Read it. And then Undone by the Ex-Con by Talia Hibbert. Good too, but this one was definitely my favorite of them all for the month. So that's it for July. If you have any comments or questions about anything, please leave those below. If you like this content, please give me a like, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.